Do you like basketball? Basketball, no. I like, but I'm not good at. Yes, I'm not.
Me too.
Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Jack, aka Jokic Joe Star. With me, as always, the world famous Pablo Escobar. Welcome back. Did I say welcome back to State of the League podcast?
I don't know.
I'm all out of whack. Messing up the intro is resistance, ladies and gentlemen. That's the new bit. Is anything is resistance. So, what do you want to be resistance, Pablo? Oh, okay.
That doesn't mean
Show me your
anything.
autism card.
I'm not. I didn't even. What? What's the uproar?
What's the uproar? Okay, guy can't speak German. No, wow.
I'm nervous right now.
It's so funny, and I did not think about this at all. How closely that mirrors the posting a link Kyrie Irving thing. Like just this.
Oh, dude, you know what I was thinking about?
What?
And this is a real problem. He's never going to understand what he did was wrong because, the Anti-Defamation League was like, no, it's cool. Elon did the Nazi salute.
Yeah,
we're totally fine with that. And that's who he had to donate money to. And so, from his perspective, like, he watches the anti-Jewish documentary or whatever. Then,
which admittedly, I'm willing to concede that it's probably not like. Titled like Jews are terrible, this is why, black people or Israel, whatever, like any of that. It's probably just like 2 minutes in there that is straight up, maybe the Holocaust didn't happen exactly how they say or something.
No, it was a pretty crazy one. I'll have to. Oh, it's
what's it called?
From Hebrews to I don't want to. It's not the N word, but the Spanish version.
Okay. Okay. From Hebrews to N words. I'll just type that in my document. Thank you very much.
No, you could look up Pablo Torre, Kyrie Irving documentary. He should have like tweeted it up. There's like a literal quote from Hitler about how the Jews are like ruining the world or whatever, and they talk about like they control the world and they're ruining everything, and so when the entire United States media apparatus then defends a genocide by telling and conflates Zionism and Judaism and is telling everybody all Jews are Zionists, you have to be okay with Zionism because Zionism is Judaism. This is awesome. We're killing hundreds of thousands of people in the name of Zionism,
80,000,
which is in the name
80,000
of Judaism. What is that, the official number?
The official number is like 45. I swear to God. It's like, yeah.
The estimates are in the hundreds of thousands.
I believe it because like it really is.
No, they just missed all the people.
Yeah,
they only got the entirety of the buildings in northern Gaza.
It really is insane to try to explain to somebody who doesn't get the videos online that like people, you and me, get, where it's like it's impossible for that to be the number. It is like if you see like just the like the scale of the destruction, it is not feasible that this many people could be in this condensed location because they spent like the century prior being like, get closer together, and so yeah, it just feels so insane. But like, what were you gonna say?
But yeah, so Kyrie supports Palestinians and like the liberation of Palestinians, and I'm sure from his perspective he already was like, yes, I am what's the word I'm looking for? I am
morally correct. I mean, what?
Not dignified. Something fied.
Justified.
I'm justified. Like I was right to think these people are in control of the world and evil because the Israel lobby, like, it was in 32 states, you can get fired from your job if you question Israel. And so like all the anti-Semitic conspiracies are like true of Zionists. Like they all should be Zionist conspiracies. But that's just a distinction that I guess it takes nuance now because they put in so much effort to make that a nuanced take, and so now it's all going to culminate with the literal presidential inauguration. The richest man on the world goes up and does 2 Nazi salutes, and then the Anti-Defamation League says, no, it's cool, that wasn't anti-Semitic. And so Kyrie's just going to be like, yeah, okay, you guys are the bad guys, you always have been. And his millions of fans are going to think the same exact way.
Yeah. Well, that just makes them ableist as far as I'm concerned. I guess that's the big takeaway, is that it wasn't bad enough for him to do a Hitler quote. It was also, he's disparaging this man. What does Elon have, Asperger's?
I don't know. He's got a bad brain.
He's got a bad brain. Shout out to the band, Bad Brains, wonderful band. Yeah, I don't know. It hasn't felt good. Has not felt like a good, 72 hours or whatever since everything's kind of shaken out.
And the Ukraine war's not over yet. I thought that was day one.
No, see, yeah, all foreign aid, Trump, he doesn't give out foreign aid because he's America first, and he's prioritizing American people, American jobs, all that stuff. So all of the foreign aid that the United States was sending out cut off on day one. And so that's as much as you could do to stop the war. And wait, I'm getting it. Oh, okay. All of the aid to Israel and Ukraine is still being sent out, but all of the other foreign aid. So if we were sending,
well, we're basically Israel, right?
Israel's basically us. We get the wording right.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like our guys, right?
Yeah.
It's not foreign aid.
That's like not sending money to Idaho or something.
Yeah.
So. Okay. Yep. The world's getting better, ladies and gentlemen, and we're the only NBA podcast. Oh, he pardoned the Silk Road guy, too. That's what I was going to open up with. We're the only NBA podcast that is now hosted on the Silk Road website.
He pardoned the January Sixers. Anyone else getting major FOMO now?
Ah, damn. I could have done it and nothing. I mean,
yeah.
So they had to...
could have gone and beat up a couple cops.
Talk about, there's no way it was that fun. There's no way it was that the adrenaline of entering a government building when you're not supposed to or whatever. That probably had him fucking going for a while, but I would wait.
Well, yeah, and they thought Nancy Pelosi was in there. They were like, I'm gonna kill her.
That's so sick. So yeah, they just had to thug it out for 4 years, and now, I mean, what did they really gain from that? I guess they're free now.
I mean, it's so funny. I was seeing the news reports of them being out, and what's his name, Donny O'Sullivan, for the Irish guy from CNN or whatever. He's like, what do you have to say to the people who are like, this is a bad thing that you're out? And then the woman is like, let's not talk about it. Let's just move forward. It would be funny if everything else wasn't immediately going so poorly.
Yes.
Like birthright citizenship being abolished.
Oh, well, he got the Workplace Equality Act too. I don't know if you saw that, where it's literally
what is that one?
The one from 1965 that was you can't fire this guy because he's black. Out the window.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
He also he got rid of the lowering prescription drugs one, and but the truth is he's actually going to replace it with a stronger one. That's what his fans are saying.
Oh, cool.
So just eat it for a little bit, guys.
Well, I saw someone,
and that's what he would do with Obamacare too. He would get rid of it, but then he'd get double
Trump
extra
Obamacare
epic Obama
afterwards.
Trump care.
Yeah.
That it would be good, yeah. And it'd only be for white people.
Oh, wait, we're up then, really. Unless he starts to draw the line in the sand with Jewish people. That'll never happen. Don't be ridiculous.
Or Irish.
Hey, I'm clean on both fronts. As long as he doesn't go full on Slavic people are not white, then I'm coolin'. Fuck, what was I just about to say about all of that shit? What did you say before Trump care? What else? Oh, I saw someone going to war about the price of insulin, the fact that only 5% of people with diabetes are born with it, and everybody else is just a fat dumbass who like ate their way into being diabetic, then insulin should be $600. So, it's really, I mean, we're entering a renaissance of like the greatest minds coming out and like developing their debate tactics. So I'm really excited.
Do you remember that guy in Jujutsu Kaisen who his curse technique was like inverse? Like when he does a weak punch, it's stronger and stuff like that. And so you got to beat him that way. That's kind of like what the conservatives are going with. Like 5% of diabetes is inherited. Oh wait, hold on, I just lost my train of thought.
Hey, you and me both, brother. We don't claim to be smart. We just claim to be whiny babies. That's all it is.
Yeah, and it'll be a whiny next 4 years.
It will be. I mean, what do you want me to say, man?
I gotta get out of here. And guys, don't pay your student loans.
Hey, prefecture of the league, baby, coming to you soon. All right. Enough whininess. We're all talking about the doom and gloom. The future of the nation looks very dark. Where the future looks maybe bright, depending on, your recency bias and everything, I guess. Depending on if you care about, the past 40 games or the past 20 games. That'll really lead you to an answer here. Portland, Oregon, the Portland Trail
Hellish
Blazers.
city. Let's put a hammer of law down there.
Whoa, damn. You're starting to sound. That's like, I bet the conservatives would get on board with that for sure.
Yeah. We're gonna get revenge on these guys.
I went to the dentist in Portland, Oregon, and he ate a bag full of mushrooms in front of me, and then he did surgery on me.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And you know what else? You know what else he did when you were knocked out?
What?
Gay stuff. They're all gay over there. That's what I hear.
Fuck, he dyed my hair. He didn't do any like non-consensual stuff outside of, he dyed my hair blue.
Voodoo Donuts from there. They make the donuts into penises and the men eat them.
Voodoo Donuts, Starbucks. Wait, Starbucks is from Seattle.
Yeah.
I know something. iCarly, anybody? I don't remember how the theme song goes.
Shout out to the Portland Timbers, one of the better MLS clubs historically.
One of the guys I went to high school with got drafted to the Portland Timbers a while back.
What round?
I not first round, I don't think, but he was a solid college player, and yeah.
Okay.
Shout out to that guy.
Oh wait, isn't Nebraska like good at college soccer?
I don't know. I mean, if it's not football, I'm not watching. I'll tell you, or maybe some basketball. Shout out to their Rutgers game that I threw on the end of. But yeah.
Oh, my team is so back. My Bears. We landed a mad scientist.
A mad scientist. Okay, what does he do?
Yep, he's kind of an offensive genius. Like picture like Steve Nash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Mike D'Antoni of football.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then imagine if Mike D'Antoni only coach the offense, and we let Tibbs coach the defense.
Hey, that's actually smart.
That's what we had. And it's different guys, so they're less tired.
Yeah, Tibbs is getting pissed because D'Antoni keeps subbing out people. He's like, God damn it, that guy starts. I need him for 38 minutes.
Yeah, so our offense is going to be back. We got a guy. He used to. He was a math major, some kind of STEM freak guy, football genius, but he's also a hard-nosed, intense leader. He's coached every position group. He's led and you know what? The Lions fans are so mad because he was the Lions offensive coordinator who just lost to the Commanders, and they say because he took an interview like before the Commanders game, and because like his coaching staff was put together really quickly, they were like, he's definitely, obviously he was talking to people during the week before the game. The Lions fans are saying he threw the game. Wait,
didn't he coach the offense?
Yeah.
And didn't the defense give up 45 points?
Yeah, but there was one play where he did a trick play with Jameson Williams, the wide receiver, and he threw the ball and he threw an interception.
Oh, yeah, I saw that play. Shout out to the Commanders, man. Shout out to Jaden Daniels. They're going all the way. I don't know what else is. I don't really have that many takes about him.
He's getting Wemby hype. Guys,
If
I'm
Wemby
sure
played
he's
football,
better than Andrew Luck was.
I have no frame of reference for Andrew Luck. Good rookie, great rookie, the best rookie of all time. Is that what they're saying?
Well, so at the time, it's funny because people now will go back and say like he was the best rookie of all time. But at the time, I was an Andrew Luck stan, and I was mad about RG3. Everyone's like RG3's better because he runs, and so. But I think statistically, Jane Daniels probably is the best, so that's why they're saying it. But I don't know how. I don't know how you scale stats, and I don't know if the football guys are scaling stats. Like Dan Orlovsky, is he a progressive enough mind to know what to do with stats, or is he just meathead on TV?
RG3. So do you feel like RG3 was it still like cool? Because like when Mike Vick was around, the coolest football player on the planet. Then did RG3 kind of like hop in on the back end of that wave as far as like black running quarterback goes? And when did like the whole he's actually a running back thing kind of arise? Because I don't ever remember hearing, like I was a kid, obviously. I wasn't really locked into like narratives or anything, but I don't remember hearing that about like Mike Vick or RG3.
Well, the funny thing is now kids are like going back and looking at Mike Vick's stats, and they look really bad, like really mid.
Yeah.
And so it was like a completely different league, same way as the NBA. Like they weren't throwing as much and stuff like that. But again, I don't know if he scales well relative to the rest of the league, or if he was just cool. But yeah, so Mike Vick, I feel like Mike Vick's prime was like in the mid 2000s, like probably 07 or 05.
Survive.
Like
I was gonna throw out 06, but yeah.
Then he went to prison. Then he came back and was good again for a little bit, and then RG3 was 2012, and so RG3 lasted like a very short time.
Yeah, he got
like,
hurt
was
pretty
basically
quick, right?
It was like the rookie year, and that was it, kind of. But his thing was he also had like an incredibly strong arm in addition to the running, and so he was like a dual threat. Also, he also came into a very specific time in the NFL where the read option came in. Do you know what the read option is?
Buddy, I'm a Nebraska football fan. Let me tell you about the read option, baby. No, yeah.
Yeah, so that was a year where the read option came into the NFL and was just completely unstoppable. And so he was doing it. Russell Wilson was doing it. Kaepernick was doing it. Cam Newton was doing it.
Oh, dude.
And yeah, they were just obliterating everybody. But by the time Lamar Jackson came into the league, there were still people who were like, he's a running back or he's a wide receiver. Like he can't throw like that. And then I guess he's just taken like one of the craziest development paths ever. But yeah, I think and people criticize Cam too. So I don't know.
Cam Newton I remember
like,
Cam had a fucking cannon, dude.
Yeah, even for his MVP. But I guess people were like, I don't know. He had accuracy issues. I don't know.
He's not. He's not technical like that.
He's not quarterback enough.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if we're talking people who we want to make crazy development leaps, they come into the league and everyone's like, they can't fucking do this thing, and then 5 years later they're doing that thing at some of the best levels that we've ever seen in the history of the sport. Scoot Henderson. That would be cool.
Oh wait, do we timestamp it so they could skip the football talk?
Yeah.
So the Nancy boys could skip the real
guys,
sports.
If you don't
want
to get in the mud and I understand. So just so you can come here and we'll coddle you. We have a blankie and
put on your dress.
Yeah. Hey, no, it's okay to wear. It's okay to wear a dress, dickhead.
It's an ugly dress.
Oh, shit. Okay. Put on your big, dumb Cam Newton hat with the feather or whatever. And I saw the funniest tweet where it was like, Cam Newton's on my plane. And then it was a picture of a guy like on his phone, head down with a huge hat. And someone just quoted it and they were like, how do you know that's him?
Yeah, have you seen the video where they like try and jump Cam Newton?
Yes. Why would you do that?
That's so awesome.
I'm going to jump Zion Williamson, guys.
I'm gonna attack Superman.
Hey, yo, Giannis is downstairs in the lobby of my hotel. Guys,
Get him!
Let's get him.
With our hands.
Our hands. Okay, 20 minutes
Yo,
in.
it's Paolo. Jump on.
Hey, guys, we can take him. I'll go for his legs or something. And then I start heading down and he just kicks me in the face and I'm unconscious immediately. 20 minutes in, Scoot talk. All right, so I will let me read off some shit that I got and then I'll let you take the lead. Last 15 games from Scoot, 15 points.
Ooh, 15.
15.6, because like the last 5 or 6 have been bangers, but the sample size, it's pretty solid going back since he returned from injury, at least compared to the standard that he set for himself in his rookie season or whatever. Last 15 games, 15 points per game, 6 assists, 63% true shooting, 42% from 3 on 5 attempts a game, shooting 52% on pull-ups, 2 attempts a game. So taking 2, hitting 1, pretty much. Scoot, is he making the leap? What's going on?
So, definite major progress made. I've more so locked into the last 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
So since his 39-point game, he had a 39-point game. Everybody, it was epic. His last
That's
5
how
games,
we watch basketball. It's just something happens. And we're like, I better pay attention to this. Fuck.
His last 5 games, 22, 4, and 8 on 72% true shooting, 51% from 3 on 7 attempts a game, 5 free throw attempts on 77 free throw shooting. He's still only shooting 56% at the rim during this stretch, which is barely up from like 53 on the year, 52. But he's shooting 75% from the mid-range.
Yeah.
And so so as a prospect, he was a really high-level mid-range shooter. And that's partly why a lot of people had optimism about him going forward, is they just thought that could translate into good three-point shooting. But it's really been a perimeter-focused explosion.
Yes.
Like, he's better right now because he's taking more threes and he's hitting more threes. I still, watching these games, I'm still not all there.
Me neither. You suggested this as the theme for the video, so I was like, I could play the fucking doubter here or whatever. But if we're both just gonna be that, let's get into it.
Well, so, I watched all these last few games, and there's 2 different Scoots, and so one is when he is passive. And it's just like the worst player on the planet. Like,
yes.
he looks like he cannot play basketball. But when he is in attack mode, like, it's a completely different guy. And so it's like he has to. The number one takeaway I had is he has to imprint his physicality onto the game. He has to be relentlessly trying to attack as much as possible. There were some times during the Bulls game I was so mad because he's getting like Josh Giddey switched out to him on the perimeter. He's getting Vucevic in space, and he was just not like he would drive directly at them and then back up, and I was like, what's going on here? And you don't feel him, and
which is tough because in some of the stuff that I saw, he has like the very classic physical, like there's flashes of like classic physical point guard shit you see, like especially with comps like Westbrook or whatever, but even to a lesser extent with Ja Morant, where like full head of steam, full contact with the guy contesting the shot, like gets into his body, and then there's like an extended half second where they have the ability to like focus and finish the layup or get it up on the rim. You see the first part of that recipe from Scoot fairly often. It's just that like the creative acrobatic finishing, it's not there right now. I don't know if it'll ever get there, but the fact that like he even has the ability to like get up in the air and hang like that and go around guys, it's a nice like groundwork to start with.
Yeah, the frustrating thing is his arms are so long, and he's like physically stronger
Yeah.
than Ja, and his hands are big too. They're like super big, so he should be like already converting these, but he's not. When you watch Ja Morant, like the relentlessness really sticks out. Like
Mm-hmm.
phase one, he's super duper fast, so you got to try and stay with him. Phase two, he's got one of the best handles ever. Like he can change direction, go side to side, go
Yeah,
around
because
his
he
back or
carries
whatever.
all the. He carries
Yeah,
constantly.
Honestly, yeah.
Hey, they
like-
don't call
like,
it. They don't call it.
Hey, 1980, he is not the same player. That is for sure. But in today's NBA, yeah, like he's just relentless with changing direction. And then when he jumps, it's like phase three, whole new game.
And
like
phase 3.5 jumps one of the best in-air passers in the league. I feel like, and that's something
yeah.
you see. Scoot, once he gets downhill and he has a similar speed to Ja, the handle isn't there, but like he can blow by guys definitely. And you see Scoot sometimes do the Ja Morant thing of like blow by everyone. Half the defense is panicking because now there's a guy completely unguarded in the paint, and he's in the air looking for a pass to make. And the Blazers don't have the same caliber of like off-ball movement, whereas like the Grizzlies have tweaked their entire offensive approach for a guy to be right there wide open for like a floater or a layup when Ja is floating in the air looking for someone to pass to. The Blazers don't have that, but also even when guys are there, Scoot doesn't find them to like the same degree that Ja does.
Yeah, Ja is like one of the best passing prospects I've ever seen. Ja's been incredible his whole way. Scoot was, and I'd say is, a decent passer. Like he's pretty good. Like he could be a legit point guard. Like if he's the best passer on your offense, that's not like a terrible thing. His kick out passing is good. His lob throwing is decent. Like they'll run stuff with Ayton and Robert Williams, and sometimes they like send multiple guys at the same time. And I like how adventurous he is. In those interior passes and stuff like that, and he's a good connector type guy too.
Yeah.
But not like the wow factor that's there with a lot of the top guys isn't there. And also he does face the issues of being a 6'2" guy, where some passes are shut off because he can't see them because he gets like multiple.
Do
guys
we need
on
to
him,
move the
just
meta
obscuring
lower?
his vision.
Do short guys need to start getting on the ground to pass the ball?
Yeah, on day. Yeah, let's crawl.
Let's
crawl.
guys.
And
Hashtag
once
start
they get,
crawling.
What could Wemby do?
He's so high up there. He probably can't even fucking see you if you're on the ground.
How low are Wemby's arms when he's standing with them down?
I mean, they're probably still like Wemby standing straight up with his arms hanging down would probably still like smack a 5 foot tall person in the face.
And I guess he could just bend his knees, and then his arms are at the ground. He would be an obstacle. But that's why he's the GOAT. But the rest of the people can't do it. Like Domantas Sabonis, what's he doing with those T-Rex arms? But yeah, Scoot, I've come away like I think he's a decent passer. But and I said he could be the best passer on your team, but he's not necessarily like heliocentric full-on lead guard. Like that wasn't what he was in the G League. They ran him around off ball a lot to get him like running downhill with momentum, and he's not always on ball with this Portland team either. Like they have Simons, they have Shaden Sharp, Denny was doing a lot on ball, and he surprised me with some of his like capability as a lead creator so far. But yeah, Scoot, like the relentlessness of Scoot. There was a possession against the Rockets, I think, where it was off a made basket, and Portland inbounded it to him, and he just turned up the pace from the get-go, and he forced it into early offense, and he got all the way to the basket before they could get set up, just by ramping up the speed. And so he is a guy who is one of the more physically gifted guards in the league, and I think, I just like when I was going down the list of all the different guys who are good at his size, and so
It's not very many.
So we got Steph.
Yes.
Nothing replicable, right?
Yes.
Lillard, not really replicable. Probably not.
I'm gonna I'll stamp it. If we consider Dame like even 80% of Steph, not replicable for Scoot.
Yeah, it would just be so nuts because Dame also is a big time athlete, or was.
God, he really did. It's crazy that like this is the only version of Dame that some people know, because he used to be downhill. He would be so crazy, dude.
He was like checking he was like a big time athlete and one of the greatest shooters ever. It's crazy. But so he came into the league a nuts shooter though.
Yes.
Where Scoot, it's gonna
we're
have to be
hyping up
something
5
he
games
has to learn.
of shooting.
Yeah, and but Dame was a 4-year college player.
Hey,
Scoot is
okay.
only 20. Ja is someone more in the template of Scoot. Obviously he's not Ja though. Donovan Mitchell is somebody who Donovan Mitchell is another relentless guy. Like he's attacking non-stop when you watch.
And I do think that's a if you're approaching this from the perspective, like Portland fan perspective, like you want Scoot to be as good as possible. The promising thing about us comping some of these guys and then saying, well, the difference here is the relentlessness. You can learn that. It's not like Scoot is like stuck in the shot diet or the aggressiveness that he has right now, especially at this age. Like you could completely transform from age, what is he, 21, 22 right now?
I think he might be 20.
Yeah. Well, from that age to like age 24, you can like be a completely different player as far as like assertiveness and everything goes. And I do feel like in this stretch, you are seeing like what that mindset can do for him, and I'm sure like everyone in the Portland organization is aware of it as well, including him. I don't think he's walking away from these games going, oh, I played the exact same way I've played the last year and a half of basketball, and that's why I dominated, or I had a really hot shooting night tonight, and that's why I dominated. Yeah, the shooting variance, it comes into play, but there's a lot he's making a lot of plays in these games that like, you know, he's deferring to worse or other guys on the team maybe when he shouldn't be.
Well, he has been the worst guy.
Yes.
When his jumper hasn't been hitting.
Last 15 games, baby.
But yeah, the Portland, they're like middle of the pack in pace, so that doesn't really help.
And they don't have Ayton is ass at setting screens, and I think Scoot is a guy who massively benefits from like when Klingon is the roll guy, the whole like pick and roll action with Scoot looks so much different to me.
Yeah, Robert Williams too. He definitely, like a lot of the times where he's getting to the free throw line a ton, it's relying on screens, which. That is a criticism that some people hold against you, but for him, I think he just needs the help.
We're talking about the pathway to him becoming good. So yeah.
He I'm not worried about the playoffs right now. It is incredibly clear to me though, like he is. Well, no, I won't get to that point yet. But
all right.
And they're. Even aside from bringing the ball up, like there are times where gaps will appear. Like he'll get the ball off a swing, and then I pause it and I see like, okay, there's even when the defense is loaded up in the paint, like ready to help. There's a clear through line, and I just think Donovan Mitchell would take that.
Yes.
John Morant would take that. Like it's like a running back. Saquon would take that, and so I think Scoot. If he's ever going to be what people expected him to be, he's got to be willing to shoot through those spaces, even when there's help defenders. Because, like, against the Bulls, they were going to, like, zones and, like, loading up. And you should know personnel. Like, these are... Zach LaVine can kind of, like, reach in sometimes and make plays. But, like, if it's Zach LaVine and it's Josh Giddey and it's Vooch and it's someone else and Patrick Williams, and there's just a straight line in the middle of them, feel comfortable to attack.
Yeah.
And
it's funny to
Scoot is
imagine
like-
Donovan Mitchell being like, I don't know. Oh man, that's pretty crazy.
I'd have to beat all those guys. And Scoot is built, and like we said, like he's literally built to go through traffic.
Yeah.
And like I used to watch Derrick Rose for many years in an NBA that was so much more unfriendly to small
Crowbars
guards.
and folding chairs in the paint.
Oh God! And he would literally just cuff it like a running back and shoot through, and then jump up and do crazy stuff.
Derrick Rose hop step, one of the most OP, like underrated. Like when he would just cuff it and he would jump 7 feet into the paint on his first action. That was crazy.
Yeah, like literally too explosive for the human body to handle is nuts. Scoot, like, if he just played with pace and confidence, I feel like he should be able to be one of these guys. And this is what he was doing leading up to the league, and why everyone thought he would be like a generational prospect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just I wonder why it's gone like this. Like, I wonder is Chauncey a good mentor? Because he is, like, we know he's a bad guy,
yeah,
but he could be a good basketball mind, and people know Chauncey like one of the greater point guards ever. Maybe is he probably a Hall of Famer, right?
I mean, yeah, like if we're again bad dog shit guy, fucking never let him in. I don't care.
Yeah.
But like if you're comparing him to, I don't even know. Like it would probably take a while, but he probably gets not first ballot, but he'd get in.
And he was a good player, but he played in a pretty slow era, right? And he was like on the more conservative side, even though he was like a good shooter.
To me,
like
he like kind of bigger Kyle Lowry to an extent, where it's like never truly like one of the best point guards in the league. Like he's not Steve Nash or whatever, but at his apex, he did really exist. Like once you get outside of those conversations, he's probably the best non-superstar point guard in the league or whatever. And then also once you contextualize his role, not just on the Pistons, but also like if guys care about it, when he went to the Nuggets, he was like arguably their best player when they went to the conference finals.
Was he top 5 in MVP voting one year?
I could look it up if you give me a sec.
There was a year I think he finished higher than Carmelo, for the Nuggets. But I wonder if there could be some bad mentorship of like don't play so sped up, be like more deliberate or something like that. Because like when I hear Kenny Smith talk about basketball, and then I think like this is a guy who was getting interviews and who talked about wanting to be a coach in the NBA, and I'm like, you are just from a completely different time.
Mm-hmm.
Like wherever you go, they're in trouble. I wonder if there could be any type of aspect like that, but I can't say for sure. What was the other thing I was going to talk about besides? Oh, and so I think pull-up jump shooting is a necessity for him. I don't really see a pathway where he could survive being like a Ja Morant level shooter, right?
Yes. But
Yeah,
on the other side, the vision is very straightforward when the pull-up jumper is hitting. Like just the way that defenses, even right now, already react to his athleticism, and the way like it. Obviously, part of the defensive approach right now is you let him shoot or whatever. But the way, even when
they're going under a lot, and when they do, like, there's no dynamic moves for him to make. Like, he can't break people down in a phone booth like with his handle.
Yeah. And so, but like when the pull-up jumper is hitting, and you get into like the second half of some of these games where they've, especially like the 39-point game where he fucking torched them in the first quarter, and in the second half there was some adjustments made, and they're trying to, if not go over the screen, at least like close out harder after going under it, not just completely ignore him. And when you get even that amount of like closeout, the way he is able to like use screens really effectively and his athleticism in conjunction to just completely leave guys in the dust. Yeah, the vision is there. The vision is there. Like that's a good player when all of that stuff is happening. It's just getting the pull-up shooting to a point where you're forcing defenses to treat you that way.
Yeah, and with the pull-up jumper, like I see pretty clear moments where it's a technique and like footwork issue. Like for example, Donovan Mitchell's guy who's developed into a fantastic, I don't know what his numbers are, but a fantastic pull-up shooter for this archetype of guy, and he hops into it. He like knows when to take them, knows when the defender's given him enough space, and he's just perfectly in stride, hopping into it, raise up, perfect like footwork and everything. Scoot will like will come off the screen, and then it takes him a second to like judge if he has enough space to go for it, and then he'll take like an extra wasted step, and that lag will allow the defenders to recover. And so that happened a few times that I was watching, and I was like, ooh, he's got to figure out. You got to figure out really if you are a hop guy or a 1-2 step guy. I guess the best guys are probably both. I prefer 1-2 step, but I'm pretty inconsistent.
Getting Klay Thompson onto the podcast. Are you a hop guy or a 1-2 step guy? And it's just like I do whatever I want all the time. What do you mean?
He's a big waterfall guy. But yeah, so that's an area where like he could definitely hone that down and refine that.
So I haven't locked into this aspect of his jump shooting and how, like, do you know if it differs in, like, does his mid-range look more consistent as far as technique and everything goes? Do you think, like, I don't know, whether it's, like, the defense being a little bit more tough kind of forces him into muscle memory or whatever? Is he too open on some of these shots where he, like, really thinks about it? Or is it all jump shooting top to bottom? It just, like, has a tendency to look different shot to shot.
I think I would have to go through and watch him again, but I think the mid-range shots are less dynamic. Like it is guys sagging off, or like he just has space and he's deciding what to do, and it's kind of like a pause, just go up because I'm open. Versus the pull-up, he's coming downhill and he's got to make the decision right then to do it. Otherwise, the guy from behind is going to come back and stop you from taking the shot. So I think the movement would be a clear difference there. As far as the rest of the shot, like the mechanics of it, yeah, I don't know. I would have to go back and watch. But yeah, and definite progress off the catch too. Like sometimes when these kinds of shooting explosions happen, like you only have it from either way. Like you're only doing it off the catch or you're only doing it off pull-ups. But he's doing a nice little mix of both. Let's see. What else did I write from him?
I wrote down consistent. What does his floater look like? I really haven't watched a ton.
Oh, I don't know.
Like when his floater falls, it feels like that would be like an unstoppable move for him. And it just doesn't feel like it's not there right now. I can't comfortably say that. I just don't know like how far away it is. And yeah, that's like the last thing I wrote down. It's like consistent floater would be huge. Could be huge, guys. Could be huge, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I don't have a stat for that, but in the games I watched, it wasn't a super big part of it. And then I don't remember how his touch. I think his touch was good on them in the G League. But they kind of lump runners and floaters
well, because
together.
like one thing that stood out to me when I was watching is that there were spots where he could take floaters, like they were open, and instead he was like fully locked. I won't call it tunnel vision, but he was of the mindset that he was going to get like an underhand like layup off the glass or whatever, even though the floater was there if he wanted to take it. And so it'd be because he is it would be hard to stop both of those. And so if he had the floater and he could get defenses to commit up to him a little more and then he could go around them, that'd be sick. But I just don't know.
Yeah, he's a guy who his game really needs a lot of refinement in terms of like just overall skill level. Like there's not a lot of moves going on. And the bag isn't that deep. So I'm optimistic after watching the offense. But definitely have shifted like well no, I don't want to throw cuz year 2 not getting it. Yeah, I don't want to throw any grand sweeping statements out there. Defense. How do you feel about him defensively?
I don't know. I feel like his tools, he had a couple good, like, really impressive individual plays when I was watching where, like, his arms just kept going into the passing lane and the defender was like, he's not going to get that. He's not going to, oh, shit, he got it. And then, obviously, that's, like, easy recipe for good offense for him is, like, transition stuff and steals and turnovers. But, like, play to play, especially off the ball, I didn't like lock in. Do you have any like thoughts about him that you want to share?
I'm in the same boat. Like there's flashes, but it's flashes right now, and the consistency is there. He's a guy who should be way better, based off the physical tools.
And you see, like he has the capacity to be like going back to Lowry or Fred VanVleet or whoever, like almost a turbocharged version of those guys as far as like athletic strength, not letting bigger guys like full on back him down and having really good quick hands. Like he could do all of that, but yeah, I don't know.
And they trust him to guard threes a decent amount, which I don't know if that's like okay. Simons is worse, and whoever else out here is worse. So we got to stick it. But they'll stick him on like the less dynamic threes. Like he was guarding Tari Eason, he was guarding like Patrick Williams at times and stuff like that. And so they'll trust him a little bit on these big guys, and he can stop them at times and make a difference. And he also ends up as the low man a lot. And he's far from consistent as a playmaker as the low man, but there's definitely times where it's like this is pretty interesting stuff from a guard. I think what did stand out to me is like, oh, this is really cool. Is he's great defensive rebounder and then push in transition. Like he can just swipe that ball out the air and immediately go into attack mode. And when he is like high motor flying around, he can make an impact as a rebounder. But yeah, he's kind of frantic still on the defensive end, like as a nail defender and like help defender. Like he should be a guy who's locked in and has like a strategy, but he's kind of like bouncing around. He's like, oh, I don't want to lose my guy, but I probably should be over here. But what I want from him is, I'm so wide. I can make.
I'm everywhere.
I'm gonna bait you into doing this, but I'm doing this.
Nice.
And when he does read, the play right, like it's boop. It's like dragonfly vision. I'm snatching that up. Like there's a play where a guard telegraphed a pass over him. Who was it? Was Josh Giddey. It was Mr. 6'9" Josh
that's
Giddey.
So surprising.
He's like, I'm way taller than Scoot Henderson. I'm going to throw this pass over him. But Scoot was like, nah, with my arms, I'm as tall as you. And then, boom, deflected it, came down with the loose. And he's kind of like Tari Eason, where I swear every single loose ball went to him. It was awesome. But, yeah, he's a very interesting ball of clay.
Yeah.
Not too much definitive stuff going on.
So what stuff? I feel like we've straddled defense a little bit in this in this stretch of like 5-10 games, whatever. What's the stuff that's jumped out to you specifically? I don't know, just like short list of like, this is really promising. This gets me excited.
I think just the version of him with tempo. When the tempo is turned up, this is a guy who can create real problems.
And then like, I don't know. if you want to say Chauncey Billups bad coach, the situation's not good. Ayton doesn't necessarily love to run the floor at this point in his career, all of this other shit. Yeah, it doesn't like it feels like they're a team that could be fast if they wanted to just like be like fuck it, if we're going to be bad anyways, let's just be a pace team.
That's what the Bulls are doing, and like why like Portland is like who has more athletes than Portland? Houston? Maybe that's it. Like, you got Anfernee Simons, you got Scoot, you got Ayton, who's incredibly mobile and athletic for a center.
Mm-hmm.
You have Shaden Sharp.
He glides.
You have Denny is so fast. Tumani Kamara has made he had this crazy nasty dunk. Like everyone on this team is crazy athletic.
Mm-hmm.
Robert Williams, the only lumbering guy they have is really Donovan Clingan. So yeah, this should be a team that's just running up and down regardless of success. But they don't do it all the time. So there's definitely some stylistic choices that could maximize him more. I think they could do more getting him the ball. Like he kind of does have to. He might just be better at being a running back. Like literally hand it off to him and get him downhill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think the jump shooting is positive because it's not like he's definitely not like a Thompson twin. There's a world where this is like a guy who could shoot with volume and efficiency.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, it's tough. I'm not emotionally invested in Scoot either way. I wasn't on draft night and I'm not now.
So you're a hater.
Fans get him. It's tough because there's a lot of people that I don't know. It's just year one of a point guard. Everyone's ready to be like, this is the worst fucking player I've ever seen. And to be fair, a lot of year two so far wasn't great at the beginning, but this recent
it's 2025.
Hey, 2025. I'm moving different. This recent stretch is kind of cool, and so yeah, I'm excited. I hope he figures it out. And then I don't know the rest of the shit I wrote down. I guess I could timestamp it, and we could talk about rest of the Blazers talk. 52. We don't have to go crazy on this. We're already near an hour. Rest of Blazers. Yeah. All right. So yeah. It's just weird because I think a lot of people have kind of given the Blazers this label of like, they're scrappy. You get them on the right night, they're scrappy, they're talented or whatever. And that's not untrue. They don't have like a collection of guys I don't like or anything. It's just they're at I don't know what moving forward here, what the next step looks like when you have these three guys at the top that you're trying to sell on and there's really no market for in Ayton, who at least bare minimum next year, $35 million expiring. So at the deadline next season.
Oh, he's expiring?
Yeah, no, not this year. So
yeah, next
year. So that's good. That will become something that you could probably move or whatever. And then Robert Williams, $13 million expiring next year as well. And he's a guy that like competitive teams would probably want to add, even if it's just like real.
He might be traded now. There's a lot of rumors out there,
and I don't think that's insane. He's so good when he plays, dude. Like it's crazy how good. Even just as like lob threat on offense and let him play defense, he's incredible. And then Jeremy Grant is the tough one because he still has. Damn, $96 million guaranteed left on his contract over the next 3 seasons. And so that's one where, I mean, money goes up every year or whatever. It becomes a little more tolerable to eat $32, $34, $36 million. But finding a buyer on a guy of that caliber at that price point, it's just difficult. And so I don't really know. Because I also don't feel like they have their guy moving forward. How do you feel about that statement?
That's what the Scoot struggles. That's a problem. You have no clear identity going forward, and like even though I think they very clearly hit on Donovan Clingan, in durability concerns aside, like that's a guy okay, yes, we got our franchise right guard, right tackle.
Mm-hmm.
We need to find the QB still though, and Scoot hasn't done enough to be like, oh, Dylan Harper, no, we won't draft him.
Yeah.
There's too much overlap with Scoot. Like they still need a guy.
Yeah. And that brings me to this other point where like you're probably more lenient than I am. I just have this tendency to see somebody like the Blazers bare minimum are like 3 years away from being really competitive. I feel like where even if they find that guy in this upcoming class or whatever, that
They won't be the guy's a rookie.
yeah, they won't be that guy for a while. And so when I start looking around at like even the guys who are 24 on this roster right now, I start to question like what the role in the team moving forward is, or whether or not like that's somebody that we're locking into the franchise or just continuing to develop and then, maybe moving off of if a competitive team wants to buy on him. And I feel that way. I think Avdia is a guy of that caliber. Even though they moved for him, they gave up a pick for him and everything. And I feel kind of similarly about Simons as well. I just don't know. I like them. They're not bad players. And if Portland wanted to just hold on to everybody, that's fine. I know individual fan bases kind of develop attachments to guys. But yeah, I just don't know. Like, what do you... How far out do you feel like the Blazers are from being even just like where the Pistons are right now, like close to 500 basketball or anything?
So I think they're done with Simons already. I think Simons is kind of like their Brandon Ingram, where they're like, he's fine, but this is not a part of our future going forward. I think they would like to trade him, like the fan base, but I don't know if there's any suit. Like I haven't heard a single Anfernee Simons rumor from this current cycle. And he's a little bit of a disappointment because I think going back last year and previous years, he was like one of the best pull-up three-point shooting guys in the entire league. And then you just think that combined with the athleticism would lead to a good player, and it's like, oh, he's mentored by Damian Lillard.
Yeah.
So he'll definitely be good. But he's never developed like passing wise into a good lead guard. He's not good defensively. And the rest of his offensive game has just not rounded out. And then this year the 3-point shooting is down. And yeah, so he's not really a guy for the future. I feel like he's probably just going to be more solidified into that. I used to say Tyler Hero tier, but he's
an all-star now, baby.
So now Anfernee Simons is just like it's him and Jordan Poole and those types of guys.
Calm down.
And
jeez Louise. Jordan Poole, one of like 3 guys, 25 or younger, averaging 21 and 5 on 60% true shooting. Jordan Poole. Whatever. His stats don't look that different from Tyler Hero's. That's all I'll say.
But we're in year 3 of Shaden Sharp.
Who's only 21,
points.
and I'm more comfortable with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
18 points a game, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 31% from 3 this year, 33% last year. So that's an issue for him. And overall scoring, we're looking at so overall scoring, 55%. He was at 52% last year, so it's an improvement. Although he was more efficient as a rookie, 57%. But overall, I feel like he's another guy, another like ball of clay that they've got. He's kind of like Scoot, where it's just like when he's hot, when he's playing well, it's like, ooh, did we just get Michael Jordan?
Did we just make the sum of the summer?
Yeah. Did we just do something? Did we have our Anthony Edwards? Because this guy can jump as high.
Mm-hmm.
But the night-to-night consistency just isn't there. So I don't know. And on either end, I don't know what you can count on him to do. So he's young enough. Like him and Scoot are young and interesting enough to keep around. Klingon, good piece going forward.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, like
how old is Kamara
Jeremy,
right now?
He's only like, I think he's 3rd year as well, right? He might be a little older because he was like a multi-year college player. But he's definitely worth keeping around. So he's 24.
Yeah, he's just like the kind of guy you'll never get value on. Where like, yeah, someone might give like a couple seconds for him or whatever. Or maybe even a first, I don't know. But like he's so good defensively that if he becomes even just like tolerable on offense, you probably got fleeced. And so, yeah, I would hold on to it. But I mean, he's another guy where like if I'm holding myself to that age 24 number, by the time they're really competitive, I mean, I don't know what this is going to look like.
Yeah, yeah, he's like their Herb Jones almost, where I don't know what year, what age you like hit the cut. Maybe 27 would be a good age. But yeah, they're a team that's gonna need a savior. And the good news is, next year's draft, I believe it's next year, is getting 2023-ish hype.
Ooh.
Let me see. Let me make sure. When is Darren Peterson coming into the draft?
You don't always hear that. That hype definitely doesn't manufacture itself once every 3 years.
Well, well, we had a historically weak one, and then
so the pendulum's swinging the other way, you know?
Yeah. Let's see. So yeah, like next year's AJ DeBansa and
oh my God, what a guy.
And Cam Boozer.
What a guy.
Apollo 2.0. And then Darren Peterson is this guy who's like really getting a lot of hype. All the draft nerds, they say he's like the best in the class. And let me make sure. Is he actually going to be in college next year? I don't know. But he's getting like this is what Michael Jordan would look like in college.
Oh,
okay, so he's going to Kansas. Epic. So next year could be like a multi-savior class. And then this year is like Cooper Flag, definite savior. Dylan Harper could be a savior. So Portland, they really just got to bottom out. And I would be an asset acquisition. Like trade Jeremy Grant. Jeremy Grant's interesting to me because
I like him. He's good.
He's reverse Aaron Gordon. He had the career where he was the like defensive guy, play finisher, stuff like that. Like when he was on the Nuggets, everyone loved him.
Yeah.
But then he's like, I want to go and be a shot creator. I want to go be a big time scorer. I'm going to Detroit, and I'm going to do that. And then he did it, and it's like, I'm average at it.
Financially, the right move though. Got a bag.
Yeah, for sure. Where did he go straight from Detroit to Portland?
I believe.
Did he go
I believe
somewhere
so.
else?
Yeah. I don't know if that was
Okay.
a trade or what. I don't remember exactly, but
Well, they brought him there to be like, no, Dame, we'll still compete. Don't go. We got Jeremy Grant for you.
Yeah.
He could be your guy.
well, they especially did that when they gave him all this money. It was like, I swear to God, that shit happened within like a week and a half of each other. Jeremy Grant got $160 million for 6 years, and Damian Lillard was traded to the Bucks like 2 weeks later.
Yeah, it was like, come on. It was nobody texting.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a guy I wonder, like, do you think he could scale back down? Do you think he could be, and with his newfound like shooting ability and shot creation, would that be more viable in a smaller role?
I mean, I guess. To me, I just keep coming back to the number where it's like for $30 million, like maybe he's a guy who costs less than other guys at that price point because he's worse or whatever, but I don't know. If you're a team who can afford to like put that onto your plate, I just feel like there would be other options. It's strictly in terms of play, though. I do think he could serve a role on a competitive team in a scaled down kind of spot. I'm just curious what he looks like defensively at this point. That's not something I've locked into in Portland, and I really don't even know how canon it would be in Portland, given how up and down everything is there night to night. It's not like, and they have good defensive pieces. Like that's their redeeming end of the floor, in my opinion, when everything's going well. But
Matisse Thybulle will be back one day.
oh my God, it'll be so sick. They'll never make a 3-pointer again, and they'll lose. They'll lose 75 to 83 every night. Yeah, and so I don't know. I guess Fuck, was it? Oh, the one thing. So when we're talking about like maybe them gaining their savior over the next couple of seasons, I just worry about. Then you start to look at everybody else slotted down a role in the depth chart, and so if Scoot's your second best player, is that something you're cool with moving forward? Is like that a better role for him? Or if Shaden Sharp is second and Scoot's third or whatever. Whereas I don't know. Looking around, I don't want to like continually come back to Washington just because I fuck with them. But when I look at like Sarr and Koulibaly, both clearly not the guy in my opinion, but also both very clear paths to like being great supporting pieces in terms of like super high level defense, really solid passing positionally, and very good like court awareness and everything. Just things that you look for from like third options instead of like, oh, well, this guy, the stuff he's good at lends itself well to being the guy.
There is definitely an interesting version of Scoot that is like the Lowry Van Vliet for a contending team where he locks in defensively. He's got plus size for the guard position, so he's got a little bit versatility. He makes threes. He passes. And in the right situations against like slanted defenses, he uses his athleticism to just like kill.
Yeah.
And so there is a very interesting version of him. He just has to really polish up a lot of things. But there's definitely like, it's not who would be a guy. I don't want to pick on Cam Thomas again, but there's some
the
guys
mob will get you, man.
They'll fucking
hey, watch your fucking mouth.
Hey, I didn't mean anything by it, honest.
Oh man.
But who is?
I mean, you could say like
Jalen
Jalen Green to some degree.
Yeah, like Jalen Green has made it clear, like it's Michael Jordan finishes or bust.
Yeah.
Almost. So yeah, I hope Scoot can develop into something. I hope they can figure out something with Shaden Sharp. And yeah, this team definitely don't think they'll be good next year, and probably won't be good the year after. We're gonna need to see a lot of upheaval.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's Scoot's not cooked yet. It's just that the path forward is so murky, it's hard to make any real predictions. But I guess the point of this video was just to glaze the Scoot explosion a little bit, or to at least talk. I don't even know how much glazing we did, because we both ended up being like, if 5 things happen, this is canon. But it's still cool that it's going on.
So let's see, 2023 draft. Say they realize, nah, Scoot's a little fraud. We hate this guy. Is there anyone they could have taken instead that you think the position of the team and the overall outlook of the future would be different? Like if a Men is on this team and is doing what he's doing now in Houston, do you how would you feel about him and this Portland core? Would you feel like he's a savior?
So I guess part of me is like, and this is like approaching it full on hindsight. We're ignoring the fact that these were like considered 2 separate tiers of players in the moment or whatever.
Well, no, they're actually in the same tier on my board.
Okay, so. All right. Hey, Mr. Escobar, Mr. Noseball, I guess.
Bryce is at 5, so.
Hey. So if you snag a Men here, maybe you feel better about it just because I don't think he's a savior either. I don't think he looks like a savior at this point, unless you put like a super deep talented team around him or something. Then maybe he could be the best player on a really good team, I guess. But
he looks like a gentleman.
What is that from?
The Killers song. He doesn't look a thing like Jesus, but he looks like a gentleman. When you
they were always
was that the Killers? That is
no,
right?
That is yes. Okay. Shout out to the Killers. Shout out to Mr. Brightside. What other songs do they have? I don't know. But regardless, I do feel like a Men, you at least have the comfort of like the versatility that I was talking about. about like clear slot into lesser role if you do pick up a savior along the way over the next few years, and just like much more direct forward path to being like a contributor in terms of like he's always going to be great defensively. He's really smart on offense, even if he can't shoot. Like he's a really, especially if you get him out in the open floor, great transition player, and then also like can screen and be a lob threat and everything. There's just a lot more ways for him to impact the game, as opposed to Scoot. If it's like, hey, if the catch and shoot is going, sick. Beyond that, and it's also part of like personnel issues because they don't necessarily have a ton of guys who are gonna like find Scoot on cuts or would find a men on cuts either as like an off-ball player. So maybe I'm just the grass is greenering here. I don't know. What do you?
How would you feel about him versus Brandon Miller? That's the guy who famously everyone's like, no, that's who would be pitted against each other, even though Miller went ahead of him.
I don't know. I feel better about Miller right now just because
like he's like a definite contributing player right now, but I don't know if he would just be another one of the guys in Portland who is just shooting. Him and Shaden and Anfernee Simons just shooting.
Yeah. And then he was also a pretty old. He's like 22 at draft night, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Which, I mean, it's not the end of the world. I don't mean to fucking write off anybody. Donovan Mitchell, 4-year college guy, you know? But all in all, yeah, just kind of waiting for all this shit to shake out, I suppose. Do you have any other thoughts on the Blazers or anything?
Let's see. There's really no one else who... No one's making you feel that bad about it. Like, everyone who's not Wemby... There's a lot of good guys. Maybe Koulibaly. Like if he was on the team, maybe you have some, because there'd be no Kuzma.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. But even like low key last back half of the year, even when Kuzma has missed games, it's been like maybe that is just him losing the wind in his sails and never getting it back this season. But like when Kuzma goes out, you would expect him to be like good again, and it hasn't necessarily sustained the whole season, but. When he's cooking, I mean, if we're saying when Scoot's cooking and it's cool, when Koulibaly's cooking and it's like he's sick as fuck. That's literally Paul George, and so, yeah.
Yeah, and like, Case and Wallace, obvious better player, but like, what are we gonna do with Case and Wallace? What would we do with all that? We wouldn't know what to do with all that.
Sam Presti on the phone. You don't know what to. Don't take him. You can't handle all that.
So yeah, there's no one who makes you feel that bad.
Yeah. Keontae George, maybe.
Oh brother. Well, Bryce would be doing some real damage in Portland if they had just brought in Bryce and recalibrated the franchise around him. Bryce and Klingon.
Oh my god.
Whoa.
Jesus Christ, calm down.
They play OKC tonight.
Well, I'm sure that'll be a close one. I'm sure that'll be real competitive.
He's gonna have Kaysen in hell.
Yeah, baby. I really have shit else on the Blazers.
Well, so let me go down my.
I'll yap about whatever you want to talk about.
Wait, are you recording the other thing today?
Yeah, in like an hour though. I told him, and so that's whatever. That just sucks because I have to wait so long for my fucking files to upload. So, yeah.
So as far as the other small guys go, Darius Garland, pretty different type player, right?
Yes.
Skill guy.
Mm-hmm. That would be like if I don't know. I'm trying to think about like Garland. So Scoot being just jumping out as like a sick ass shooter for 10 games. That's like if Garland 8-game stretch where he has a post or dunk every single game, and it's just like, oh shit,
yeah.
All right.
Is there anything to be learned from Jalen Brunson that could help Scoot? Any overlap?
I mean, I'm sure in terms of like some of the most success I saw with Scoot in this stretch. It feels like so he's not the kind of first step. Like I saw the Westbrook comp a lot in drafts, and Westbrook more athletic to me. So Scoot, not necessarily the kind of first step that just like teleports you by defenders and to the rim. Like, he's fast and he can get by guys for sure, but it's not just a guaranteed thing every single time. I feel like change of direction, stopping and starting, is probably the path forward to him being really successful in the paint inside the arc. That's why I like the floater so much for him, and even like some of the mid-range shit, like his snatchback dribble into the mid-range, I feel like opens him up almost as much as any of his moves. And so, yeah, Brunson to some degree, although a lot of that you feel like Brunson kind of learned as necessity just to continue being like playing at the level of basketball he was at every step of the way. Where if he didn't learn craftiness in high school, he doesn't get to play at Villanova for 4 years. If he doesn't like figure out craftiness at Villanova, he doesn't get to the NBA, and then he doesn't get the contract and all that other shit.
Yeah. Scoot, the arms are so crazy. There's an entire world of hand fighting that he can still unlock, like the Shea, where just I get in the paint and that type of stuff, and pushing guys out of the way and the swipes and stuff. Like, he has an incredibly high ceiling with that, especially if other guards are guarding him. So that could be a pathway to him being a big time finisher.
And with Brunson really takes advantage. He's like a bowling ball, and like if there's anyone slight against him, even a bigger guy, like if Brandon Miller was trying to guard him or whatever, you're going into Miller's chest. You're getting separation via a hard bump off of a post.
That lung is coming out of its place. It's
we're popping that bitch for sure. I'm going in there with the
sockets are loose.
Yeah. And Scoot has, I mean, a lot of guys throughout history have had the tools to do shit, but I mean, if that's like some...
Well, he is a rare overall combo of physical traits.
Yeah. And he has, like, he could, like, to bump guys and to really embrace physicality going downhill. I think it opens up a lot of stuff for him, in addition to just he'll get to the line more.
And so when I look at all the rest of the guys, one interesting one I think is De'Aaron Fox, who's like a tiny bit taller, but he's like the fastest guy in the NBA, so he's faster. But he was kind of supposed to be in that Rose, Westbrook, Wall category of player, but he's never been that relentless of a guy and that like elite of a finisher. And he's kind of used his speed in other ways, and he does a lot of that mid-range stuff, and he's kind of like streaky from three.
He's methodical. And it's interesting. Whereas sorry, you go.
No, you could go.
I was just saying, like, when you talk about the lack of relentless, it's just like he is so fast, and when you see him in the open court, it's like, yeah, okay, that speed is there, but I don't know if it's like a byproduct of playing with Sabonis or whatever. But
probably
I'd say that's where it's like Ronald Reagan. It all goes back to Sabonis, baby. But yeah, like you don't necessarily see him. You would figure you get like 3 possessions a game where it's just like, okay, if you're guarding De'Aaron Fox, you're gonna get fucking blown by a couple times, and you don't necessarily get that. Especially when you compare him to Westbrook or John Wall, where it was the defender, there was a cloud of dust in front of them a couple times a game, where it's just like, boom, my guy's gone. I haven't seen him in a half an hour. Fox, very athletic, and does like use it effectively, but doesn't like fully just spam it the way guys throughout history have.
So I wonder if he could be a template in terms of like shot frequency, where he takes his shots from the different areas. Like could Scoot be that mid-range heavy, and passing wise, like similar ballpark. Like he's not the craziest passer, but he's good. And yeah, I wonder if he could be that level of guy ever. Maybe he'll fucking just a mere all-star guy. You know, maybe he'll get there one day. One-time All-Star, let's hope.
One-time All-Star.
Well, dang, 2-time All-Star.
Ooh, the most fun group of players. 1 to 3 All-Star selections in their career. that's the most entertaining guys to talk about, like Luol Deng, like Lamar Odom.
B.J. Armstrong, one-time All-Star.
Hell yeah.
He only got it because people died.
Who died?
Drazen and someone else.
Damn.
I forget.
That would be so crazy to have a player just die straight up in the middle of the season.
Has that...
That's never happened while I've been watching.
Yeah. No, an active player? No. The Warriors lost a coach last year. That was crazy.
Yeah. And I mean, even that was a big deal. Like, you had, like, and he was, like, a very impactful international coach. And so you had a lot of guys like Jokic and Luka and everybody wearing shirts about it. But, so, yeah, like, for that to even, like, he gets ESPN scrollers and everything. So any kind of player, that'd be insane.
Imagine, like, someone in a presidential office dying. Crazy.
Whoa.
That
You mean a
nuts.
sports presidential office, correct?
That too.
That too? Okay. I was saying this thing. Apparently there's like wild horses in the streets of Chicago right now. Have you seen anything about that?
No. Where?
Yeah. Like downtown Chicago, there's been horses.
Horses are not... Well, don't go behind them, but...
Well, the thing about these horses is that there's like ropes tied to them. And so, you know, if you were to like step in the wrong, like there's loops, there's like lassos at the end. So if you step in the lasso, they run away from you. Boom, you're tied to a horse. You got a leg going in one direction, and I just don't understand.
Oh.
I don't know. You're 3 directions away from something really scary happening.
Don't let me catch the wrong guy at a restaurant.
How do you like them apples? You're holding up a picture of 4 horses to the window,
God,
Goodwill Hunting
what a
style.
lame line.
Oh, come on, you fucking loser.
Screw that line.
What would you have said?
I would have kept it lore accurate and had him say a slur. No.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Especially, I mean, shout out...
Because that makes the city of Boston more of a character.
The city of Boston comes alive in this movie, and it's
That's my favorite character in Goodwill Hunting. The city of, well, I guess at Cambridge, or which one do they spend the most time in?
I don't know. I remember they fight some guys in the beginning, and Casey Affleck's there.
Who's your favorite character, or who's your favorite character in Oppenheimer?
I don't know. Who's yours? Why do you ask?
The New Mexican desert.
Oh, okay. It was low key. The atomic bomb. The atomic bomb. My favorite character in Oppenheimer. You know, the ghost of. You know, you see Einstein a couple times throughout it, but his presence really lingers through the whole thing.
It was pretty cool.
Shout,
he had aura.
shout out to
He was aura farming.
the Odyssey. That's coming out. He's making that.
I'm a hater of the concept.
Why?
But I'm a lover of the cast. I think it would be boring. But
Why do you think
Tom
that?
Holland, I love.
So,
John Bernthal, I love.
what do you like? What's a movie that you've seen recently that you liked?
It's been a while since I went to the theater.
You've been sick.
I was
You're a
sick,
sick
for
fuck.
two long random bouts. COVID tested both times. Negatory. What is the latest? The last movie I saw that I really loved was Conclave.
Conclave is a banger. I won't lie. Who's your favorite? Who's your favorite character in Conclave? A lot of bitchy priests.
It's gotta be the compound where they're sequestered.
Oh,
It's gotta be the city of Rome. It's got Vatican City.
It's gotta be the Vatican. You know, the Vatican is really a character in Conclave. The Pope's bedroom. Oh my God, what a character! Yeah.
I gotta remember to do this every time. I love this.
I gotta.
Because the only one I really feel like that is Gotham. I love the city of Gotham, but
City of Gotham's good. So
it's
you just
so
mean
funny
the
to
city
say
of
that
New
for-
York?
it's so well.
The city of
There's some
the city of Metropolis.
there's some debate.
Gotham's in New Jersey, and that's why it's gone to shit. Eric Adams would never let that go down. In
the
his...
Dark Knight was filmed in Chicago, and then the second one was filmed in Pittsburgh.
Hey, I don't give a damn about Pittsburgh. Shout out to Mac Miller. Shout out to Pittsburgh. I won't hate on you guys. Randomly hilly city. I know that. Some of the biggest hills in America.
That's my favorite part of Mac Miller's songs is
the character of Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Dude.
Can you? So you could do it with movies. You could do it with music. What else could you do it with?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying is like Abbey Road, the album by the Beatles. It's to me like overrated music, but the character of Abbey Road, it really comes through, and that's like one of the redeeming qualities for me.
Yes.
Yes. I'm hungry.
My favorite. No, I guess that doesn't work.
Come on, just spitball. Get out with it.
The dome for Hunger Games. I don't think that works.
My favorite characters in Hunger Games are the guy Stanley Tucci. There we go. Stanley Tucci in all these. Conclave, Stanley Tucci. Abbey Road, Stanley Tucci. Mac Miller, Stanley Tucci.
Were you ever a Rooster Teeth guy?
No.
I was a big Rooster Teeth podcast guy, but that was it. But the city of Austin is a big time character.
Yeah, I mean, if you're any podcast guy, if you go back to like if the podcast that was like releasing in 2017, either they're in Austin or they will take a break and go to Austin.
They were there first, though. they didn't go like Rogan later. Mm-hmm. They've been there since '98.
Damn. That's got to be so
called?
Bizarre. One of just the most insane transformations of like, a cool low-key city, and it doesn't just get gentrified like the stormtroopers moving down the street, pretty much. like the worst losers who are like, well, I love my whole thing is that I love guns and smoking weed, so I'm kind of like different that way.
Who's your favorite character in the Trump presidency?
It's got to be Mar-a-Lago, really.
It's Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah. A lot of people would go like White House, but you'd think about it, he's never there, dude. He's always in it's got to be Mar-a-Lago. I saw
the scariest part of the Epstein stuff was the island.
ominous ass island. Did you see? You should watch it if you didn't. The Apprentice, the Trump movie with Sebastian Stan.
Oh, I thought you meant his show. I did watch that as a kid.
You're
with my
such
parents.
a loser. Oh my god.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I bet you watched it with your parents.
It was a hit. Well, he was different back then.
My parents.
He was a lip.
It's also so funny. There's like a timeline. I can't remember which podcast was talking about it, where he's just like a fashion, like a red carpet, like cunty guy who's like, that dress is not for you or whatever. But instead he's like, he's this guy now, which is not to infantilize him, like huge piece of shit and everything. It's just clear that like,
no, but he has an infant brain.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, maybe we should infantilize him. Every time you see somebody like handing Trump any kind of like substance, alcohol or whatever, they're endangering. They're endangering a minor. And that's resistance. That's resistance.
You can't hold these guys accountable. They're neurodivergent minors. They're all of them.
Yeah, that's so crazy that the ADL did that. The ADL. The ADL. American Dickhead League. How about that? Yo. American Dick Lickers? American Pickers. Damn, we should do a pod about that.
What is that?
You watched The Apprentice, but not American Pickers? Are you kidding me?
No, that sounds like it was on a hillbilly channel.
It was on the History Channel.
I was watching NBC.
It was on the History Channel. Okay.
He planning to suspend Jimmy Butler for 2 games.
Well, he wore Phoenix Suns shoes.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah. Yo, that actually pissed me off. Because what I'm going to record after this, I spent all day yesterday, full timeline of the last 5 years of the Phoenix Suns and how they arrived at this point where it fucking sucks. And then like an hour-ish before I sat down to like watch a movie, that all those reports came out that like the Suns looking to do something. And so if we record it now, it's just like The second we post it, Jimmy Butler will get traded there, so we just had to pivot.
You know, the craziest part of this entire saga?
What?
The city of Miami.
I was going to say the city of...
the city of Phoenix.
Really? So let's see. Jimmy's gone everywhere. City of Minneapolis, underrated. Brief moment here, but you know,
I've been twice.
Yeah. I don't have anything else. We're at an hour 30. Do you want to keep? You want to keep doing this city bit? I don't care. I got time.
Thought we gotta reload.
You know what the biggest character in the State of the League podcast is? The Patreon site. Patreon.com/State of the League, baby. Pau Gasol, take it away.
Lay down a list of what is wrong.